Members, good afternoon. It is the appointed time and we have a quorum. I call to order the meeting of the House Committee. Item 1, matters arising. Reports on the meeting with the Chief Secretary for Administration. According to the Chief Secretary, the Chief Executive has officially started the public consultation for the 2026 policy address on the 29th of June. The first Hong Kong 5-year plan and the policy address are in the same vein. The 5-year plan is a guiding document with vision, strategies, and directions, while the policy address is the annual administrative plan with specific targets for implementing the requirements of the 5-year plan. The administration will collect views on both areas at the same time during the consultation sessions. The Chief Secretary also said that during the consultation period, the Chief Executive and his team will walk into the community and host numerous online and offline consultative sessions to listen carefully to views from trade representatives, local bodies, and electoral members, as well as members of the public. The CS has asked members for their support. The Chief Secretary also said that the government will introduce a number of bills, among which public consultation has been completed concerning the dedicated legislation for accelerating the development of the Northern Metropolis. It has received wide support. During his inspection visit, Director Xia Baolong recognized the importance of the Northern Metropolis as an important growth engine for Hong Kong's development, while the 15th Five-Year Plan has stipulated that we need to accelerate its development. The Development Bureau introduced the bill in July to remove barriers and restrictions concerning the planning and land administrative procedures for developing the Northern Metropolis. The government will fully cooperate with the scrutiny process of the Legislative Council and actively reply to members' questions and views. He hoped that the bill can be passed smoothly to benefit society and economic development. Item 2, LSD report on subsidiary legislation. There's one item of subsidiary legislation. That's the subsidiary legislation gazetted on the 26th of June 2026. That's paper number LS 39 2026. It covers one piece of subsidiary legislation. Legal advisor, please. Thank you, Chairman. This is legal notice number 80. Its purpose is to amend the schedule to the destination of libraries order to designate the ground to third floors of Sai Wan Ho Complex, 63 Liking Road, Sai Wan Ho, except to the extent used for or in connection with residential accommodation, with the provision of care as a library. This will allow the management and control of the new library to be vested in the director. The government has not consulted the panel on Home Affairs, Culture and Sports on the notice. The notice will come into operation on the 8th of October this year. The Legal Service Division has found no difficulties in relation to the legal and drafting of the notice. That concludes my report on legal notice number 80. Members, do we need to establish a subcommittee to follow up on the matter? Please raise your hands if you think so. There is none. I remind members that the deadline for amending the previous subsidiary legislation will be the Council dated the 15th of July. Item 3, business for the Council meeting of the 8th of July 2026. That's next Wednesday. The agenda includes questions 2 for first reading of government bills, that is Statute Law Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2026, Medical Registration Amendments Bill 2026, Northern Metropolis Development Bill, and the Employees Retraining Amendments Bill 2026. 3, 2 pieces of government bills with resumption of second reading debate. They are Stamp Duty Amendments number 2 Bill 2026 and Dutiable Commodities Amendment Bill 2026. 4, government motion. Resolution proposed under the Banking Ordinance by the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury. 5, a resolution for extending the scrutiny period that is the resolution of extension moved by Reverend Peter Kuhn. 6, 2 members' motions with no legislative effects, that is the motion on enhancing the governance efficacy of civil service from Ms. Nixie Lam and the motion on seizing the development opportunities of the Northern Metropolis and green transports and building an innovative-driven smart city from Ms. Julia Lau. Besides the above item, the report number 15/2026 of the House Committee on Consideration of Subsidiary Legislation and Other Instruments will be tabled before the Council. There is a subsidiary legislation, the amendment period of which will expire at the meeting on the same day. No members have indicated that they would like to speak on the subsidiary legislation. Item 4, business for the Council meeting of the 15th of July, 2026. Questions. A list of members allocated with a quota has been uploaded onto the website. B. Government Bill, first reading and second reading, debate to be adjourned. So far, the Secretariat has not received any notice. C. Government motions. On that day, the government will move 3 motions. 1. Proposed resolution under the Trading Funds Ordinance. The paper is RS 40, 2026. The proposed resolution is in relation to the Post Office Trading Fund. Legal advisor, please. Thank you, Chairman. The proposed resolution seek the legislature's approval to appropriate $4.6 billion in cash from the Capital Investment Fund to the Post Office Trading Fund and specify that the appropriate amount be shown in the CIF as a contribution of trading fund capital, so as to implement the approval given by the Finance Committee on last Friday to support the refurbishment works of the Air Mail Center of the Hong Kong Post and the continuous operation of Hong Kong Post over the next 3 years. Please refer to paragraphs 3 to 5 of our report. The administration has consulted the panel on economic development in June this year. Members supported in principle the proposal, but also raised a number of concerns. The resolution, if passed, will come into operation on the day on which it is published in the Gazette. We have found no difficulties in relation to the legal and drafting aspects of the proposed resolution. That concludes my report. Thank you. Do members need to establish a subcommittee to follow up on the matter? Please raise your hands. There is none. The administration will move the proposed resolution at the Council meeting on the 15th of July. The second government motion, proposed resolution under the District Council's Ordinance. That's paper number RS 41, 2026. The proposed resolution is in relation to the delineation of District Council geographical constituencies. Legal advisor, please. Thank you. The purpose of the second proposed resolution is to seek legislature's approval to amend Schedule 1 of the District Council's Ordinance to represent the updated delineation of the Yuen Long District and North District. The purpose is to include the loop area into the Yuen Long District so that the Electoral Affairs Commission may submit a report to the CE containing the recommendations on the delineation of the District Council geographical constituencies. Opportunity is also taken to update the map to reflect the prevailing boundary of the Hong Kong SAR near the Shenzhen River. In June, the administration has consulted the HLSP as well as the panel on Home Affairs, Culture and Sports. Members have raised no objection. Subject to the passage of the resolution, for the purpose of the District Council ordinary election, will come into operation on the 1st of January 2028 in full. We have found no difficulties relating to the legal and drafting aspects of the resolution. That concludes my report on the resolution. Do members need to establish a subcommittee to follow up on the resolution? Please raise your hands. There is none. The administration will move the proposed resolution at the Council meeting on the 15th of July. Motion 3, proposed resolution under the Factories and Industrial Undertakings Ordinance. This is in relation to implement the comprehensive smoking ban at construction sites. The subcommittee for scrutinizing the resolution has made an oral report at the previous House Committee meeting. The Secretary for Labour and Welfare will move the proposed resolution at the meeting of the Council on the 15th of July. The President has approved the debate arrangements recommended at the previous House Committee meeting. That is to proceed with a joint debate with the take notes motion as well as the proposed resolution from the government. According to the rules of procedure, the maximum time allowed is 4 hours. Each member may speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. The members' motion, take notes motion, as agreed in the previous House Committee meeting, I will move a take notes motion at the capacity of the House Committee Chairman to proceed with the debate on the subsidiary legislation in relation to smoking ban at construction sites and regulatory regime of online ride-hailing services. As I've mentioned, the Take Note motion in relation to smoking ban at construction sites will be combined with the government's proposed resolution. Concerning the Take Note motion debate in relation to ride-hailing services, the debate time has been extended to 4 hours. Each member may speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. On the date of the debate, if necessary, the President can extend the debate time at her discretion. Item 5, reports of bills committees and subcommittees. There are 4 reports. First, report of the Subcommittee on Public Service Commission Investigation Regulation. That's paper CB-3775/2026. I will invite the chairperson of the subcommittee, Ms. Nixie Lam, to give a report. Thank you, Chairman. In the 2025 policy address, the Chief Executive announced the establishment of the Heads of Department Accountability System and a new 2-tier investigation mechanism, under which cases are handled according to the nature of the problem. The investigation regulation seeks to confer a new investigative function on the Public Service Commission so that its investigation teams may conduct second-tier investigations into matters that are serious, widespread, or likely to implicate a head of department or a permanent secretary, thereby enhancing the credibility of the investigation process and its findings. Members support the administration's proposal to establish a 2-tier investigation mechanism to strengthen administrative accountability and clarify the responsibilities of civil servants with managerial roles. Members express concerns on a number of issues, including the criteria for initiating a second-tier investigation, setting time limits for investigations to avoid delays, the right of civil servants under investigation to appoint legal representation, and whether the administration should publish the contents of investigation reports at its discretion. The administration replied that the investigation are fact-finding internal inquiries for clarifying responsibilities. They do not involve disciplinary proceedings. The regulation ensures that investigation teams can conduct second-tier investigations effectively, while the current provisions have already struck a balance between fairness and efficiency of the investigation process. The administration will also disclose the investigation findings as appropriate to safeguard the public's right to know. The subcommittee has completed its scrutiny work. Neither the subcommittee nor the administration will move any amendments. Members are invited to take note of the subcommittee's deliberations set out in the report. Thank you, Ms. Lam. The second report of the Subcommittee on Building Planning Amendments Regulation 2026. Paper CB-2935/2026. I now invite the chairman of the subcommittee, Mr. Bill Tang, to give a report. Thank you, Chairman. The main purpose of the Building Planning Amendment Regulation 2026 is to introduce 16 mandatory requirements for elderly-friendly building design so as to enhance buildings and flex accessibility and convenience for elderly residents. The subcommittee has held 2 meetings with the administration and invited public submissions. Members have raised concerns and offered views on numerous areas, including policy measures and incentives to promote elderly-friendly building design, the scope of application of the new requirements and specific design standards, such as lighting, slip-resistant floor surface, lift and automatic door design, as well as the exemption mechanism and transitional arrangements. The subcommittee noted that the new regulation will come into force on the 1st of August and will mainly apply to new buildings, as well as alteration and addition works to existing buildings or flats that require the submission of plans for approval, or works carried out under the minor works control system. Members were in particular concerned about the specific scope of application of the new regulation. For example, whether major old building maintenance projects, general renovation works in residential units, conversion of subdivided units into basic housing units, and certain single-occupancy buildings such as detached houses and village houses are subject to the new regulation. Members urged the authorities to step up publicity and provide clear guidelines to the industry and the public through info packs, social media, websites, and practice notes. At the same time, the design manuals should be continuously reviewed and updated so that the elderly-friendly building design keeps pace with the times. The subcommittee has completed its scrutiny work and raises no objections to the amendments regulation. Neither the subcommittee nor the administration will move any amendments. Members are invited to take note of the subcommittee's deliberations set out in the written report. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tang. The third report of the subcommittee on 3 pieces of subsidiary legislation relating to insurance ordinance. Paper CB-1762/2026. I now invite the chairman of the subcommittee, Mr. Chen Pui-leung, to make a report. Thank you, Chairman. The main purpose of the three pieces of subsidiary legislation relating to insurance ordinance is to amend the insurance, valuation and capital rules, and accordingly, the insurance maintenance of assets in Hong Kong rules, to reflect the enhanced proposals put forward by the Insurance Authority, following its review of the risk-based capital regime for the insurance industry, as well as introducing subsidiary legislation to implement the third pillar of the regime, namely the requirements for disclosure of information to the public. The subcommittee has held 2 meetings with the administration and the Insurance Authority and invited public submissions on the matter. The subcommittee supports the 3 pieces of subsidiary legislation. During the process, members urged the administration and the Insurance Authority to clarify the criteria of eligible infrastructure investments and to clearly explain the operational details of these criteria and other enhancement measures in the upcoming guidelines for the industry. Members consider that, following the preferential arrangements implementation, the administration should continuously monitor the effectiveness of the arrangements in supporting infrastructure developments in the mainland and Hong Kong. Regarding the requirements of public disclosure of information, members expressed concerns on the scope of the statutory requirements and the compliance costs for the industry. They also recommended strengthening public education to help the public understand the information contained in the disclosure statements. Neither the subcommittee nor the administration will move any amendments to the 3 pieces of subsidiary legislation. The House Committee is invited to take note of the subcommittee's deliberations set out in the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. The 4th report. Report of the subcommittee on 4 pieces of subsidiary legislation relating to regulation of ride-hailing services. That's LC paper number CB Bracket 3783/2026. I now invite Dr. Ben Chen, the chairman of the subcommittee, to give a report. Chairman, the 4 pieces of subsidiary legislation aim to provide for the regulatory details for ride-hailing services, introduce a combined driving test for taxis and ride-hailing vehicles, specify a cap on the number of ride-hailing vehicle permits, and prescribe the commencement dates of the various provisions of the Road Traffic Amendment Ride-Hailing Service Ordinance 2025. The subcommittee has held 4 meetings with the administration and invited written submissions from the public. Members expressed concern over several issues, including the regulation of ride-hailing platforms, the records that licensees of ride-hailing services would be required to maintain, and data security, the cap on vehicle permits and the dynamic assessment mechanism, the method of allocating vehicle permits, the renewal of such permits, insurance coverage of ride-hailing vehicles, and the regulation of drivers of these vehicles. The subcommittee's deliberations are detailed in the written report. The subcommittee has completed the scrutiny of the 4 pieces of subsidiary legislation. Neither the subcommittee nor the administration will move any amendment. Thank you, Dr. Chen. Will members please note the full report? A reminder to members, the deadline for amending the subsidiary legislation examined by these 4 subcommittees will expire at the council meeting on the 15th of July. The deadline for giving notice for any amendment will be the 8th of July, that's Wednesday. Item 6, position on both committees and subcommittees. LC paper number CB Bracket 2936/2026. As at Thursday, the 2nd of July, they were in action 5 bills committees, 10 subcommittees under the House Committee, and 4 policy subcommittees under panels. Item 7, any other business? There is no other business for today. I adjourn the meeting here. Thank you.